Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's share some paradigms. Paradigm I share today is the fall of Candace Owens. As I record this, the conservative blogosphere, conservative Twitter, wherever, is talking about Candace Owens. And she has a knack for keeping her name in the news. So chances are we're still talking about Candace Owens. I remember a time whenever I posted something about institutional racism or how we need to be more serious about dealing with racial issues, some people would say, why aren't you thinking like Candace Owens? And the reason why they said that is she's a black woman and she was up there and she was, criticizing what she would call race hustlers or what people would call race hustlers or things of that nature, and saying we should be colorblind and all this sort of stuff. And they wanted to hear that from African Americans. And when I articulated something different, they didn't like that. No one's going to tell me to talk like Candace Owens today. She's become a source of conspiracy theories and cruel treatment of a widow. Wherever you want to think about Erica Kirk, and I don't agree with her politically on many things, okay? And I reserve the right to criticize her when she comes out on a political stance. But my heart feels for her to having watched her husband die, shot. And Owens is attacking a widow. That's messed up. I mean, there's no academic term, that's just messed up. She's fallen. She was once in Turning Point USA and had and she still has a lot of followers, don't get me wrong. But the attitude towards her among many conservatives is one of disdain, and I don't blame them. Why did she rise? I believe part of why she rose was she was an African American woman, and conservatives like to use someone like an African American woman to show that they're not racist and not sexist. She followed the party line for the most part, and she advocated for conservative issues. This made her very, very desirable. She speaks well enough. I'm not saying she's a great orator, but she speaks well enough. So of course I want to put her up there and say, see, we're not racist, sexist, and she's saying what we want to be said. So she's very attractive to conservatives for that reason. And let me say this. There are African Americans who believe in politically conservative principles. They articulate them. They debate them. They believe in them. While African Americans tend to trend toward the left on politics, there are some that are conservatives. So in that, it's not an anomaly. But now as we look back, I think we can ask questions. Did she really believe what she said? Or is she, as many people have said, with some justification, was he just hustling, a grifter, if you will, and going to where she could get attention, fame, and hopefully some money? Why are they saying that? Well, before I go on, let me just say, if you enjoyed this sort of conversation, please consider subscribing to this channel, liking this video. That's how I get the word out, and that's how hopefully we can build this channel. Why are people saying that? Well, in hindsight, you can see some of the evidence. The first piece of evidence was, why did she leave Turning Point? Either Kirk fired her or she resigned, however you want to put it. And the reason why was she made some very anti-Semitic statements, some disgusting statements, too far for a very conservative right-wing organization. And Kirk did not want to have any part of that. Why was she making these statements? It's hard to know. You can't get in someone's mind. She had a comfortable position at Turning Point. Many statements made her too hot for the organization, but it did get her a lot of attention. And I think it's fair to say that one thing Owens likes is a lot of attention. So now that she's making anti-Semitic statements today, it's not really that surprising. That's why she left Turning Point in the first place. And I guess her being at least quasi-fired by Kirk may indicate why she's so hostile towards Kirk's widow. We can see that in some senses, it may not be principle that drives Owens, but the limelight, but to get the attention. And if she can't get the attention doing something, building on something that people believe in, she'll do it with these sort of nutty conspiracy theories. Now, she'll gather a following, unfortunately, because there's a market out there for that. And that's what she's going after. There's a larger market of more traditional conservatives, but there is this fringe market of anti-Semites, conspiracy theorists, who like to believe this sort of stuff. There's a body of research on conspiracy theory. I've not really dived into it, but I've scanned it enough to know that conspiracy theories meet certain social, psychological needs people have. To feel like, they have knowledge, they have some sort of control of things. She's feeding into that. I really don't think she believes what she's saying. I think she believes it will get her what she wants. And in some ways, that's the saddest thing of all. I don't really tolerate anti-Semitism. I find it disgusting. Whether it comes from the left or right, doesn't matter. You know me, I'm not partisan. I don't care where it comes from. I don't like it. But if someone actually believes it, I'm disgusted by them, but I can chalk it up to ignorance. What infuriates me even more is someone who really doesn't believe this stuff and promulgates it anyway. It's like the person who's a racist and actually believes it. You're horrified at that, but you think maybe they have some knowledge they would believe that. Compared to someone who's not a racist, but placates racism, encourages it, because it's how they get what they want. I think that's Owens. I think it's unfortunate. I'm not disappointed, as you can tell, to see the fall of Candace Owens. And unfortunately, she's going to have a following for a while. I would like to see her fall faster, if at all possible. I don't hate her, because I don't want to hate anyone. But she's not good for the church, our body politics, or society in general. Owens is a tale of caution. Because at one time she was on the side of the conservatives and they were like lauding her up and saying, hey, look, be like Owens. And now she's an embarrassment. And she's splitting the conservative movement, and unfortunately hurting the church a little bit too. She's a tale of caution that not everyone who's on your side, because at one time they thought she was on their side, but everyone on their side is there for the right reasons, and some will stab you in the back for a chance they get, and they get a little more attention, a little more money. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please come back and shatter some more paradigms.